Real Madrid 3 Man City 3, Foden and Gvardiol wonder goals not enough as Valverde scores an even better one in thriller. Josco Guardiola is a centre-half, filling in at left-back, who had not scored and barely even had a shot in 32 appearances for Manchester City, so, in a game of beautiful bedlam, it was fitting that the Croatian should hammer home a corker to put Manchester City into pole position for next Wednesday's second leg of this clash of European footballing royalty, when Jack Grealish cut back from the left. Gvardiol's first touch was awful, almost gifting possession to Toni Kroos, but his second touch was a goal, as let rip from outside the area and propelled City into the lead. Federico Valverde volleyed a brilliant equaliser, but, having survived some prime Real showboating and trailed for the majority of the game, City will be thrilled to go back to Manchester on level terms. Bernardo Silva had netted a stunning second-minute free kick only for Eduardo Camavinga and Rodrigo to seize the lead for the 14-time champions of Europe, but Phil Foden netted a brilliant leveller, his 22nd goal of a stellar season, before Guardiola fired the City's second City cannonball in the space of 5 minutes. What an absolute belter of a game this was, between the current champions of Europe and the side which has ruled the continent most often. Somehow City always seem to end up here for a knockout tie. It was the 4th time in 5 seasons, and Pep Guardiola's side had won 2 of the previous 3. It always feels like some sort of final, the best team in the world against the grandest club in the world, managed by the 2 most successful bosses of the Champions League era, Guardiola and Carlo Ancelotti. Maybe it will be the final before long, or maybe the City project will be torpedoed by the myriad financial charges facing them, to be settled in the timescale of expensive lawyers. Real, at their best, have always been football's Harlem Globetrotters, making exhibition match stooges of their opposition. Suddenly there were back heels, nutmegs, and Cruyff turns as Real attacked with speed and sorcery. Had Vinicius Jr. pulled a bunch of flowers out of his sleeve, it would not have been out of place. When Kylian Mbappé turns up here this summer, they are going to need 2 balls. The equaliser was fortuitous. Camavinga cut in from the right and his shot took a massive deflection off Ruben Dias to wrong foot Stefan Ortega, surprisingly keeping his place ahead of a fit again Ederson. The second was a pearl. Vinicius released Rodrigo down the left and the Brazilian turned full road runner, outpacing Manuel Akanji, giving Ortega the eyes. Then he rolled a cute finish casually inside the far post, with just enough pace to find the back of the net, like a snooker player resting the cue ball against the baulk cushion. Teams very rarely do this sort of thing to City, and they didn't take it well. Akanji was booked for a foul on Vinicius. Then the locals demanded a red when he piled into Rodrigo. City were missing Kyle Walker. They were missing proper fullbacks in general. Why has Pep taken against them as a breed? Bellingham was performing so many back heels, you wondered if he had his boots on back to front. He was getting carried away and risked a yellow, which could have earned a suspension. Early in the second half, Bellingham feinted, sending 2 City defenders to the nacho stand, but shot narrowly wide. Then Vinicius fired over after a Hollywood pass from Toni Kroos. Rodri's radar was on the blink. Camavinga was bossing midfield, and at one point Holland was charging back to win a tackle in the right-back position. But then City began to get a grip, pinning Real back, and Foden seized his moment. Bernardo darted down the right and fed Stones, who rolled a pass for his fellow England man to lash home a left-footed shot. Foden raced to the bench where he and Guardiola shared a manic celebration. Then came Guardiola's moment of unlikely genius, and City thought they were heading back to the Etihad with a lead. Naturally, Vinicius soon wheeled away down the left and delivered a lofted square pass which Valverde walloped home on the volley.